Can you get buttery, flaky biscuits from a box? Or are you just buying disappointment in powder form? Today I'm comparing 3 popular grocery store mixes, Krusteaz, Pioneer, and Bisquick, to a homemade version to find out if the shortcut is worth it or if it's time to dust off your mixing bowl. The results, let's just say that one of them surprised me. Hi, I'm Sune, and I'm not just a food enthusiast, I'm a full-blown food geek. I'm here to share my passion and knowledge with you. A while back, I compared cornbread mixes to homemade, and the result wasn't even close. Homemade crushed the competition, so I had to know would biscuits follow the same pattern. Here's how I tested it. I followed the instruction on each mix exactly. No substitutions, no tweaks. If it asked for milk, I used whole milk. Butter, I used unsalted, to keep it fair and accurate to the box. For the homemade biscuits, I used a classic southern style dough, all-purpose flour, a generous amount of baking powder, a little sugar for balance, and just the right amount of salt. Cold unsalted butter is cut in until it looks like coarse crumbs. Then it's brought together with tangy buttermilk. A few gentle folds creates layers, and that's it. Simple ingredients, minimal fuss. But will it be enough to beat the convenience of a mix? If you'd like to support the channel, please consider joining my Patreon. You can also buy some merch, or use the super thanks, or use the links for tools and ingredients in the description. Those were the words. This is the experiment. This test and a written version of my homemade recipe are on my website. The link is in the description. First, I heat my oven to 190 degrees Celsius, 375 degrees Fahrenheit with the fan on. To make the Krusteaz, I only need to mix some buttermilk with the mix. Obviously, a whisk was the wrong tool here. I'll just need it to come together. All right, then I need to flatten it. And fold it once. And then roll it out. Cut the biscuits. We can get a few more. All right, let's put them in the oven. The box says to bake them for 10 to 12 minutes, but it doesn't specify what to look for when determining doneness. I'll check them after 10 minutes, and they look good. Okay, they are a bit on the pale side. The rest of the recipes specify baking at 220 degrees Celsius, 430 degrees Fahrenheit, so I turn up the oven. Alright, let's move on to the Bisquick mix. All that's needed is the mix and some water. I learned my lesson with the Krusteaz, so I'm using a wooden spoon now. Then the recipe says to dump them out on the baking sheet with a spoon. That's pretty rustic. The box says 8 to 11 minutes, so I'll check after 8. They're brown and seems done, so I'll take them out. Alright, let's move on to the Pioneer mix. It just needs the mix and some whole milk. This dough is pretty fluid. It says to shape it into a ball, but you can't do that now. Let me knead it a little bit. that's better. Alright, let me cut them into biscuits. I have to bake for 11 to 13 minutes. It seems like a lot, but okay. Alright, not too shabby, but they're pretty flat. No rise whatsoever. Okay, let me show you how I make my biscuits. Before starting, put 110 grams or a stick of unsalted butter in the freezer for about 15 minutes. In a medium bowl, add 330 grams or 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. 20 grams or 5 teaspoons of baking powder. 18 grams or 5 teaspoons of granulated sugar. Don't mind the fourth little bowl, I accidentally added extra sugar. 8 grams or 1.5 teaspoons of table salt. Mix all the dry ingredients. Grab the butter from the freezer, grate some of it into the dough. Once in a while, mix it into the flour. Keep going until all of the butter has been added. Then massage the butter into the dough. I'm wearing gloves because my hands are super warm and it would otherwise melt the butter. When the whole thing resembles coarse crumbs, you're good to go. Then add 240 milliliters or a cup of buttermilk. Mix it in. Flour your counter. Pat the dough into a rectangle using flour as needed. Then fold the dough in half. Pat it out again. Keep going until you've folded it 5 or 6 times. Then pat the dough out to about 2.5 centimeters, 1 inch thick. Cut the biscuits with a 3-inch cutter. Just cut straight down. Get the dough together again and cut some more. I got 8 proper biscuits and a little leftover for the baker. Bake for about 12 minutes with the fan on or until they're golden brown and delicious. Alright, that's it. They're all baked. Let's have a look. Alright, this looks really nice, layers and all. Let me try and taste it. That is pretty tasteless. It has a good texture though. It was the only one of the mixes that instructed you to fold the dough. Okay, this looks like a Danish cake called kokosmakron. Wow, that is dry and absolutely no taste. These are super dense. It doesn't feel like a biscuit at all. The taste is better though, probably because of the brushed on butter. Okay, let's try the homemade one. Wow, super flaky and so soft. That tastes so good. A bit sweet, buttery. Yum. So here's how the biscuit crumbled. Krusteaz looked decent. The texture was close to what you'd expect from biscuit, puffed up with some layers. But once I took a bite, there was minimal flavor. It was a bit disappointing, to be honest. Not bad, just bland, nothing memorable. Bisquick was crumbly, and that was primarily because of the preparation method. The instructions said to drop the dough by spoon onto a baking sheet, which left no room for folding, shaping, or layering. The result was a dry, loose texture and an unfinished taste. It was not biscuit level comfort. Pioneer came out dense. That may have been partly on me. I could have overworked the dough, but it had no flavor even after following the instructions, including brushing the tops with butter. It looked like it should be good, but it just wasn't. And then the homemade biscuit. This one, crispy on the outside, incredibly soft on the inside, a rich, buttery flavor without even brushing it. It's tender, flaky, and just honest. With some gravy, that's a full breakfast moment right there. So what's the final verdict? Krusteaz was the best of the mixes, like in the cornbread experiment, but even then, it couldn't hold a candle to the homemade. That depth of flavor, the texture, the balance, you just can't fake it with a scoop of powder. Now, I want to hear your opinion. Have you tried a biscuit mix that just wowed you? Or do you have a go-to homemade recipe that I should put to the test? Let me know in the comments. I might feature it in a future video. I hope you learned something today. See you next time.